Counter-Strike Global Offensive is a multiplayer FPS game developed by Valve. The main objective of the game is that you're placed into one of the two teams, the good guys and the bad guys. The two teams essentially have to eliminate each other to win a round. Each team is also given a few objectives besides murdering each other to also win. The good guys are either supposed to rescue the hostages from the bad guys or prevent the bad guys from planting their bomb, and the bad guys are supposed to defend the hostages or plant the bomb before the good guys defuse it. This all depends on whether you're playing hostages or defusal. Hostages and defusal each have their own dedicated maps, which are mostly pretty good, but some of them were way too overplayed. CSGO is also a sequel to previous releases of the game. I haven't played Counter-Strike 1.6 or Condition Zero, but I have played Source and it's pretty fun to say the least. I enjoyed the overall concept of CSGO since it's more than just a team versus team, and it's also relatively easy to understand. But I also think that the game's overall idea doesn't deserve to be dumbed down either. Like pretty much every game nowadays, it's much deeper than the generic, lackluster descriptions that all of those quote-unquote websites give you. The first thing I want to go over is the game modes and official matchmaking that the game offers to you. There are 8 game modes that official matchmaking offers to you in CSGO. Casual, competitive, deathmatch, arms race, demolition, and flying scoutsman, all belonging to the wargame section, wingman, and the battle royale danger zone. I'll give a personal rating for all 8 of these game modes. It's only my opinion, so you might not agree with all of these ratings. Casual consists of a 10v10 game where the first team to reach 8 rounds wins. There's no tie system, maximum amount of rounds is 15. Casual games go by relatively quickly and you don't really gain much from this game mode other than XP, I guess. So if you want to play this game mode, then you should probably play it if you want to train for competitive, if you want to avoid competitive, or if you want to act like a shitlord and see how fast the lobby kicks you. I usually play it for the first option in case I want to warm up for comp. Other than that, I really don't gain much from it, so I don't play it that often. It's fun to an extent, but I'd rather play something more challenging like competitive. I'll give it a 6 out of 10, I guess. I also have to mention that some very interesting people play on this game mode.
There is no reset button. You know, we raised this video game generation where if you just mess up on Mario and your little guy falls in the little abyss, that you just you're mad and you just hit the reset button. And then you start the level over. You got all your lives and all your powers or whatever.
Competitive is a more intense version of casual. It's a smaller but a more serious 5v5 game where the first team to reach 16 rounds wins. And since the maximum amount of rounds is 30, there could be a tie. After the 15th round of the game, the teams switch sides. Comp games last for a while, sometimes up to over an hour if the game gets really competitive. When you win enough comp games, you get a rank, and you can rank up from there. If you lose too many comp games, you end up downgrading your rank. There's a reason why so many people try hard in this game mode. I'm gonna be completely honest here and say that I'm not gonna give a rating for this game mode because I have a big love-hate relationship with it. Sometimes this game mode gives me some of the best moments of CSGO I've ever had, and other times this game mode makes me want to die. I will say that it's more engaging than casual. Deathmatch is a game mode that's different from the previous two. You choose your team, you pick whatever gun you want, and you try to kill everyone in the opposite team to gain as much individual points as possible before the timer runs out. Don't pick an auto though. If you pick an auto in this game mode, then not only are you just a bad player in general, but you're probably ruining the fun for everyone else. You can also get the bonus weapon to earn more points, which is always nice. This game mode is great as preparation for competitive in my opinion, and it's also really fun. I'll give this one an 8 out of 10. War Games is a section that includes 3 different game modes that you can play: Arms Race, Demolition, and Flying Scoutsman. Each of these game modes have their own dedicated maps, which is pretty neat. Arms Race specifically is probably my favorite out of the 3. All you need to do is to kill people in the other team and level up. It's similar to Deathmatch, but every level gives you a different weapon, and when you reach level 16, you obtain God Mode. And if you kill someone with God Mode, then you win and the game ends. The thing I like about Arms Race is that all of the maps, in my opinion, are fun to play on. Some I like better than others, obviously, but I never really disliked any of the maps that Arms Race has to offer. I also like the fact that this game mode is relatively simple to understand, and it's very addicting to say the least. I'm giving this one a 9 out of 10 because I really love this game mode. Demolition is just a hybrid mix of Arms Race and competitive. It's a 5v5 and you don't get to choose your weapon. As you kill people in the other team, the weapon you're assigned to gets changed to another weapon. After 10 rounds, teams switch sides and the first to 11 rounds wins. I'm not a fan of this game mode, but I do understand the appeal of it. It does serve as a decent alternative to the cancer hell that is casual. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. Flying Scoutsman is an interesting game mode to me. It's basically a low gravity game where the only weapons you have are the scout and a knife. The scout also has increased accuracy accuracy too. This game mode is essentially a snipe fest if I were to describe it, and it could get pretty crazy when there's a lot of people in one game. I don't enjoy this game mode as much as other people because I'm not really good at the scout, but I can definitely see the appeal of this game mode. This game mode gets a 6 out of 10 for me. Wingman is a game mode that's almost the same as competitive, but it's a 2v2 and the maps are compact with only one bomb site. I don't think this game mode is worth covering over that much since it's just a watered down version of competitive, although I do understand the appeal of this game mode because of its simplicity. I'll give this game mode a 5 out of 10. Danger Zone is the most recent game mode in CSGO, and it's basically more battle royale bullshit that I keep seeing in the gaming market. I mean, if I were to look past the fact that this game mode is pretty dry, I guess it's something new and different. I'm gonna be completely honest here and say that I don't understand the appeal of this game mode at all. I'm not hating it because it's battle royale. I'm hating it because it's the most boring thing in the entire game. I'd have more fun playing casual with literal bots than this game mode. Some people may enjoy this game mode and that's fine, but honestly, from what I've played at least, I definitely don't enjoy this game mode at all. I feel like Valve just wanted to cash it into the battle royale world of Fortnite and PUBG while trying to distance themselves from both of those games, which in theory is understandable, but I don't think they got it exactly right either. You barely get any ammo, the map is way too small and bland, and the player count of 18 is also too small. Some people like the direction Danger Zone took with this, but I'm not a fan of it. This thing also just doesn't leave a mark on me at all. Even when it's shoved into my face at the front of the screen of this entire game, I still forget its existence. If I had to give an honest rating for this game mode, I would give it a 3 out of 10. But even though I don't like all of these game modes, I still think that they deserve to exist. Danger Zone is something new after all, and it's something intriguing from Valve. And despite how much I dislike the game mode, I think it should stay. Game modes give the game much more variety, and it prevents CSGO from becoming a one-dimensional game. In fact, this applies to pretty much any game. There are more types of games and maps in CSGO beyond what they show you in official matchmaking, but we'll get to that later. For now though, I'm gonna tell you some of the metas in CSGO, and unsurprisingly, the metas are pretty overpowered. I think talking about how people play this game is necessary in my opinion. You can never really criticize the game mechanics itself unless you've seen people use them either towards their benefit or just to annoy everyone else. And from what I've seen, the CSGO mechanics and guns are somewhat broken. One of the most exploitable metas in my opinion is the spraying meta, in which you auto spam your gun as much as possible until the person dies. In theory, this would not be a good idea since your shots would be less accurate, but it's actually pretty overpowered. I won't talk about the uses of SMGs because those weapons were made for auto spam, but auto spamming on rifles is something that I've learned to hate over the years from playing this game. I understand people who auto spam rifles due to reflexes or the enemies very close, but a lot of people intentionally auto spam because for some reason it seems to work better than the alternative. The alternative to the spraying meta is the tapping playstyle, where instead of auto spamming your gun, you're clicking on your mouse so that you can get a more accurate kill. In theory, this would be a better option than auto spamming, but the problem with tapping in this game is that your shots are still not accurate or consistent either. It takes way too long getting a kill with an AK-47 by tapping, yet when you auto spam that weapon, you get a kill in like 2 seconds since the bullets somehow have a better chance of hitting the target. The only way to get a quick kill by tapping is if your aim is godlike, and not everybody has that kind of aim. I feel like the recoil recovery timing in this game seriously needs improvement. It's way too long and it causes the game to reward you more with auto spamming your gun than taking your time with your shots. A good counter of this would be to search and use a better crosshair to get better shots, but if it's to the point where you need to do that, then I think Valve needs to fix their recoil mechanic. Since we're on the topic of spraying, I also want to talk about the Negev meta. The Negev is way too overpowered as a spray weapon, and I really dislike the fact that this weapon is cheap. The Negev is like 50 times better than the M249, and yet it only costs $1,700, while the M249 costs like over $5,000, and the M249 is one of the worst weapons in the game by far. To further illustrate my point, I'm gonna bring up the Desert Eagle. The Desert Eagle is only $800 and you can get insane kills with that weapon, but that's because you need to have good aim. The Negev is cheap too, but you don't have to worry about putting effort into aiming at all. At least with the SMGs and rifle spamming, you still need to aim a bit. But with the Negev, all you need to do is to mindlessly spray and hope you get a kill within 5 seconds. The final meta I want to talk about is the auto meta. Autos are also a very overpowered type of weapon along with the Negev. Not only do you get multiple rounds of clip, but the shots do a shit ton of damage and you can easily get quick kills even at a far distance. This meta is extremely unfair to the game, and it's used by people who either want to farm kills and XP or bullshit their way towards victory because they're either shit at the game or they just want to piss off other people. People tend to stay away from autos and competitive, thankfully, to avoid starting an auto war where both sides aggressively spam autos, or to prevent the team economy from getting worse since autos are very expensive. But even if autos are expensive, they're still way too overpowered, and I definitely believe that they need to be nerfed. I think it sucks that pretty much all of these metas in the game are extremely overpowered to the point where the game gets frustrating to play. But besides these metas, there's still one more thing I want to talk about. Not everything this game offers requires you to deal with all of these metas. Remember earlier in the video when I was reviewing the 8 game modes that official matchmaking offers? I was only scratching the surface of CSGO when I was talking about them. We're gonna go beyond official matchmaking and dive into the CSGO community servers. An important step that games need to make in order to keep their players engaged is to add the option to create custom servers where people can either chill, form communities, or even create custom game modes that the game doesn't give you by default. And the CSGO servers seem to do pretty great in all of these points. Some of the game modes I've seen at least in CSGO community servers include Op Only, Hunger Games, Zombie Escape, Multi 1v1, B-Hop, and my personal favorite, Surf. Surfing is one of my favorite things to do in this game since I find it very fun. Some of the maps are questionably difficult, but most of them are easy and smooth to go through. A lot of the surf servers are pretty chill too. Well, sometimes.
Eat at Burger King, and Lily had shoes on, but that's even worse.
Yo, leave her the fuck alone,
Okay.
fucking dick. Let her fucking finish what she fucking has to say. Who the fuck invited you in here? Cause I fucking can. Shut the fuck up.
Take your fucking mic out of your damn ass and then maybe we'll be
Yo,
able
who
to
the fuck
fucking
are
hear
you, you fucking honky? Get the fuck out, fucking
I'm
redneck ass
not
bitch.
here.
I think the CSGO servers are one of the best things about this game. When I get bored of official matchmaking, I can just go to a server and search for another game mode to play or try on. The actual people in the servers kinda depends on the day though. Some days the servers are really toxic, while other days they're pretty nice. I feel like Valve often overlooks this side of the CSGO community. There are so many people who would rather go to casual than join a community server. And I feel like Valve has the opportunity to promote some CSGO community servers so that more people can play on them. And believe it or not, CSGO servers do continue to keep me, and probably a lot of people as well, interested in this game. And I definitely think that the servers deserve recognition for it. If I had to give Counter-Strike Global Offensive an overall rating, I would give it a solid 7 out of 10 in my opinion. It's pretty good for what it is, but I don't think it's a masterpiece. Well, maybe I would think so if I made this video 2 years ago since I had a huge addiction to this game back then. But even if I'm not too crazy about this game anymore, it's still generally fun and I play it often. I really do wish Valve appreciated this game a bit more and actually interact and reach out to the CSGO community. And Valve's increasing incompetence in making sure CSGO is free of cheaters, and their very mediocre treatment of other games such as Team Fortress 2 is really giving me increasing speculation that CSGO is going to be completely forgotten by Valve one day. And that would be a damn shame because I think that this game has so much potential to become even better than it already is. Despite me playing this game for only 3.5 years, there's still something about this game that makes me come back again and again. It's a game that's not mind-blowing, yet it allows you to use up your entire day playing it, with not much regret either. This game is good for esports, this game is fun with friends, and the thing that I appreciate about this game even more is the amount of content on YouTube that's sprung up because of it. Whether it's rage compilations or laughing at toxic people, or even when it's just a group of friends messing around. Some of my favorite YouTubers of all time have made extremely funny and entertaining videos with this game. And look, I may not praise this game too much from a critical standpoint, but I will certainly appreciate the huge amount of influence and fun that this game has brought to gaming and entertainment in general, and how it's managed to not die down even after 7 years. I also want to thank this game for helping create this amazing, beautiful, inspirational, iconic clip.
Green, what's your problem, Green? What is your problem? Missile alone ramp.